Someone reaches into a bush and grabs a wild animal. They turn to the camera and smile. The animal panics, visibly, on screen, in the shot you're watching, and the video does 4 million views. This has happened thousands of times. It isn't a lapse, or a guy having a bad day near a lizard. It's a genre. And the animal is the only one in the frame who doesn't know there's a frame. I've watched an enormous amount of this content, and not originally for research. The algorithm handed it to me, and I kept watching, which is roughly the whole thesis of this video in one sentence. The scale is what people get wrong. Garrett Galvin has about 7.6 million followers on TikTok and roughly the same on Instagram. His format is grabbing things in the Everglades with his bare hands. His audience calls him the Yoink Guy. It's a 6-figure income. Mike Holston, who posts as the real Tarzan, has 15 million followers. In September of 2025, he stepped off a boat in Queensland and charged a freshwater crocodile in shallow water, got bitten, posted it, and did it again the next day with a saltwater crocodile. In March of 2025, an American influencer picked a bare-nosed wombat joey off a road at night, ran with it while it hissed, and filmed a mother chasing her. The Prime Minister of Australia commented. She left the country before her visa could be reviewed. Penalties, where they land at all, are modest. One creator pleaded guilty to 6 counts of unlawfully taking native wildlife. They grabbed lizards and a death adder and posed them for tourist photos. And they were fined only 4,000 Australian dollars. $4,000 against a category that reliably clears 6 figures. That isn't a deterrent, it's just a line item. So it's the same shape every time. Grab, react, post, and then monetize. Which raises the obvious question. Is any of this new? It is extremely not new. In 2009, a video went up of a slow loris being tickled. It's a small nocturnal primate with enormous eyes. In the video, it lifts both arms over its head while a hand moves across its stomach, and it reads, universally, as delight. The raised arms are a defense posture. A slow loris has a venom gland in its elbow, and lifting its arms is how it loads the toxin into its mouth. The animal in the world's most famous tickling video was actually arming itself. In 2016, a team at Oxford Brookes scored the 100 most popular loris videos against a standard welfare framework. All 100 contained at least one welfare violation. Not most, all of them. Demand followed the views. Loris has entered the pet trade in volume, and because a venomous primate is a liability in a living room, sellers routinely clipped the teeth out with nail clippers first. So the tickling video wasn't the start of the problem, it was the prototype. Everything since is the same format with better cameras. Which means the question isn't whether these people are nice, it's what happens to an animal in the 30 seconds a stranger is holding it. There's a clinical name for it, it's called capture myopathy. And that's when a restrained wild animal dumps stress hormones faster than its body can absorb. Muscle tissue breaks down and the debris floods the kidneys. Death arrives 1 to 6 hours later, or weeks later from the metabolic damage. It is the largest single cause of death in wildlife translocation. The same procedure run by trained biologists with sedation protocols, a vet on site, and a reason. Not a man in board shorts saying, "Look how calm he is." The timing is the load-bearing part. The animal is released, walks off, looks fine, and the video ends there. The animal's version doesn't. Whether it lives gets decided off camera, after the upload, in a window nobody films. A wombat joey spends 6 to 10 months in the pouch and another 8 to 10 alongside its mother. And that pouch isn't just a pocket, it's also an immune organ, passing antibodies through milk to an animal whose own immune system isn't finished. Then contamination also runs the other way too. Bare-handed handling of amphibians transmitted chytrid fungus in 4 lab trials out of 10. Grabbing a joey and holding it up to a phone is an acute moment with a mildly annoyed mother. It's an unsterile extraction from a life support system. Then there's the version where the animal isn't grabbed once, but employed. Tiger cubs are usable for public handling between 8 and 12 weeks old. After that, they're too strong and the revenue stops. So, operations breed on a schedule. Cubs are pulled within hours of birth, so the mother cycles back into heat 2 or 3 times a year. The ones that age out go to roadside zoos, canned hunts, or are killed. So a tiger has a content window of about a month. Evolution did not design around that. None of this is obscure. It's sitting in veterinary journals. So if the harm is this well documented, why is the genre still growing? Because the numbers are excellent. In 2025, analysis examined 78 influencer videos featuring big cats and crocodilians, plus about 190,000 comments. Nearly a third of the videos passed the million views. 52% of coded comments were positive, 19% were negative. And where creators invoked conversation, the researchers found that they gave little or no detail on what they were saying or protecting the animals from, or how. Conservation isn't the goal here, it's a caption. A 2023 study traced cruelty content across 39 countries and found 114 monetized videos, carrying ads from 155 advertisers, earning $1.14 million US. The most profitable category was wildlife kept as pets. The enforcement layer is decorative. Instagram launched a wildlife warning pop-up in 2017. Researchers tested it in 2023 against 244 hashtags in active use on cruel elephant posts. 5 triggered the warning. 5. And only if you search the hashtag, not when you upload, watch, or follow. So the mechanism is clean. Handling produces reaction, reaction produces engagement, engagement produces reach, reach produces sponsorship. Every step in that chain is working exactly as designed. Which means someone using a long lens, not baiting, not touching, is competing for the same slot in the same feed against someone willing to pick the animal up. Only one of those 2 videos has a climax. And here it stops being about the animals in the footage. In 2011, researchers ran a study on one photograph of a chimpanzee, composited 2 different ways, once alone and once with a human standing nearby. Not touching, just standing. People shown the version with the human were 35.5% more likely to believe wild chimpanzee populations were healthy, and 30.3% more likely to say a chimpanzee would make an appealing pet. That's a human standing in frame doing nothing. The handling videos are that, but escalated and delivered to millions of people who skew very young. The peer-reviewed ethics paper written about the wombat incident lists 3 validated harms: injury to the joey, distress to the mother, and the risks associated with viewers of the video imitating the experience with other wild animals. And that shows up in intake numbers. Wildlife rehabilitators in New York State handle around 20,000 cases a year, and report that as many as 60% of those fawns brought in didn't need to be brought in at all. A fawn laying alone and motionless in the grass is not abandoned. It's executing the only strategy its species has, which is to be boring, scentless, extremely hard to find, and patient. Then somebody who's watched a lot of rescue content picks it up. The people copying it don't fare well either. In December of 2024, a snake influencer known for free handling filmed himself being bitten by an eastern diamondback rattlesnake. 88 vials of antivenom. He nearly lost his leg. But of course he filmed that too, obviously. So there's documented physiological harm on animals that often die after the video ends. There's a payment structure that rewards the moment of contact specifically. There's an enforcement system running at 2%. And there's an audience copying what it sees into rehab centers and emergency rooms. The distress isn't a side effect of this content. The distress is the content. A calm animal sitting where it lives, doing what it does, isn't footage. And all of it gets sold as love. What's actually being demonstrated is access. The ability to reach into something wild and take hold of it, on demand, with a camera running. That isn't a relationship with an animal. It's a relationship with an audience, using an animal as the equipment. Real wildlife content exists, and its rules were written down decades ago. Don't bait, don't habituate, don't alter the behavior you came to record. Luca Martinez films the same swamp as the Yoink guy for 1.8 million people, using a camera instead of his hands. It can be done, it just can't be done as fast. So here's the footage nobody clicks on. Somewhere in Tasmania tonight, there's a wombat that isn't in a video. It's underground in a burrow that can run 30 meters. After dark, it'll come up, walk a circuit it has walked its whole life, and leave somewhere between 80 and 100 cube-shaped poops on the highest surfaces it can find, because flat sides don't roll off a rock, and a message that stays where you put it is worth more than one that doesn't. It isn't performing, there's no frame. It's the only one out there who doesn't know that there's a frame. And tonight, for once, that's because there isn't one. That animal is never going to be interesting on a phone, which isn't a flaw in the wombat, it's a flaw in what we decided to pay for. though in fairness, it's out there stacking 80 perfect cubes on a rock every night for an audience of other wombats, and it has never once had to claim it was doing that for educational purposes.